Hello guys, my name is Eduardo Lopez Ramirez. This is a video assignment for my education class 301 for the University of Phoenix, and it has to do with the professional responsibilities of a teacher. I'm going to start discussing what in my opinion those responsibilities are. I believe that our responsibilities as teachers are to educate children, give them the best education that they can get. This could be done by exploring different approaches. Many students have different ways of learning. Not everyone learns the same way. So, exploring different approaches will ensure that every student gets the quality of education that they deserve, um, even in its whole class group or small groups or one-on-one. We have the responsibility to teach the students and help them reach a goal. Another one is curriculum design. Many teachers decide to go off the books that the state or the school district provides. Other teachers have the preference of making their own curriculum. That's really a personal choice, or it could be taken in consideration too, whatever works best for all the students. Class management. Class management is keeping your class safe, allowing students to follow the rules to create a safe environment where they don't get hurt. This also ensures that kids are active on their learning and they're not just fooling around. The last one is maintain a family environment. I think this is a really important thing to do. Once kids are placed in a classroom, I believe they should feel as if they were a family, including the teacher. There should be respect towards each other. They should understand that you are there to guide them to become better than what they are. There should be no bullying. They should feel comfortable coming to school every day, and I think this is a really important aspect of being in the classroom. If the children feel safe, they will be more likely to wanna come and learn, making a fun environment. I'm gonna continue to compare the state and the national standards for teachers. The national standards for teachers are committed to students and their learning. That's basically our jobs. We need to teach our students and we need to ensure that they're learning and they're not just sitting there in a classroom. Teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects to students. This goes again to the different styles of teaching, the different styles of learning there are. You need to accommodate to make sure that your students are gaining the knowledge that is needed. We go to teachers are responsible for managing and monitoring student learning, again through assessments. We should make sure that our kids are learning and if they require extra help, that they gain it with the resources that the school may have. Teachers think systematically about their practices and learn from experience. If you're trying a way of teaching and it doesn't work, then you find a different thing that might work for your students. Teachers are members of learning communities. We must play well with others. With our students see teachers as being their own community. They see how we interact, how we behave with the people we work with. If we show that we can play on a team, if we show that we respect each other, then this is going to allow the students in the classroom to feel that they need to respect each other, that they can play in teams, and that if they play together, they will ensure the success of others. If we go to the state of California standards, engaging and supporting all students in learning. Again, we go back to making sure that everyone is understanding the material that is being exposed. Creating and maintaining effective environment for student learning. We can have a classroom that is not organized. It will show to our students that they don't need to be organized. They might see us unorganized and feel that they're not getting the most out of us as teachers. Understanding and organizing subject matter for student learning. Again, we gotta be familiar with the curriculum that we are teaching. We can't go and teach something that we don't fully understand. Planning instruction and designing learning experience for all students. We need to be able to see the different backgrounds that our students have. See if some of our students maybe are hands-on learners, or if some of our students learn better by videos or pictures or painting. We need to explore all these different things, and we need to ensure that whatever works for our classroom or our class at the time is what is being used to teach them. Assessing students for learning. Assessing to make sure that they are where they're supposed to be, that they're learning, and this will also help us determine the other areas where students need the help. It might be in math, it might be in when it comes to language, it might be in comprehension, it might be in reading. So by assessing our students, we're able to determine what areas are the ones that are needed to be improved the most. This could help us even with small groups. Once determined by the assessment what areas help is needed on, then we can make sure our small groups tend to that specific need of that group of students or that student alone. Developing as professional educators, which take us into our next bullet point for professional responsibilities, which is continued professional development. So developing as professional educators, everything changes. Society is constantly changing. The path that the nation is going towards is changing. For example, before we used to have an industrial country, so we had to prepare our students we had to prepare them to work in the industry, to make cars, to have assembly lines. That was the focus of education, and teachers at the time had to learn about how to create great assembly line workers, how to create engineers, designers. Now I feel that our country is moving more towards science and technology, green energy, for example, technology. We have phones, laptops, computers. All of this has to be the set or the goal for students to get there. We have to prepare students to work in the science field. We have to prepare students to work in the technology field, because this is where the jobs are gonna be in the future. So as teachers, we also have to be trained, and we have to study this field. They're bringing us to new places, and we need to study this. We need to study the information that our students need to be. Not all the time we're gonna teach the same things. We have to move along just like society is moving along, just like the nation is moving along. As teachers, we have the responsibility of learning those things and passing it on to our students to better educate them, for them to have a better future. That brings me to technology. The advantages and disadvantages of technology. Never before in the classroom have we seen document readers, students having their own iPads, their own Chromebooks, or even an access to a smartboard. This is something new. Teachers, again, we can go back to the professional development. Teachers need to learn how to use these things so they can implement them in the classroom. Now, there are some advantages as well as disadvantages. Advantages can be more things can be done with the help of technology. You don't have to go out of your classroom to see architecture in other parts of the world. You can stay in your classroom and do it from there. So you don't need field trips. You can experience it in your classroom. The thing is, we have to include technology on our lectures. It can't just be kids watching movies. Sure, we can bring the movie into the lecture, but it has to do with the lecture. It has to complement what we are already teaching for it to be something positive and not something that they just can stare at and not gain anything from it. It helps with training again for the future. Kids are no longer gonna be writing on paper. They're gonna need to know how to type on a computer. They're gonna need to know how to create PowerPoint presentations. They're gonna need to know how to create videos, podcasts. I mean, we're moving into a generation that it's gonna use more and more technology. So it's just gonna help them train as they go into the future. Then that takes me to the disadvantages. Of course, every positive has a negative. In this case, depending on technology, sometimes we can't become too dependent. As teachers, we need to be able to teach without a computer. We need to be able to teach without the smartboard, to teach without the document reader. We need to go, if you would say we need to go back to analog, we need to use dry erase markers, the board, students getting interactive with each other, actually talking to each other. So we don't become dependent on technology. That's pretty, because sometimes technology does not cooperate with what we're doing. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes let's say our projector bulb ran out and, well, we still have a class to teach. So it is important that we detach ourselves from depending on technology and rather just use it as an asset rather than being the core of what we're teaching. That is what I believe are the responsibilities of a professional teacher, and that's what will make a great teacher. Actually going to the classroom in about a year. It's not the first time I've been in the classroom, but I'm actually nervous to have my own class and set my own rules and do my own curriculum. But practice makes perfect.